Welcome back to Pape Toolkit. Today we're going to go over the Ego 18-inch chainsaw. Let's get started. All right, let me start with, we're out here in the Pacific Northwest. We're just coming off a pretty major ice storm. Dropped quite a few trees on my personal property. I had actually just gotten my property kind of cleaned up from the last storm about 4.5 years ago. So I'm definitely feeling a little behind the power curve here. I'm a little off. So luckily I was asked to test some of this Ego equipment. There's a large market for this kind of stuff. And I will tell you that there's a lot of our actual markets are kind of going away from the smaller gas engines, mostly because of regulations at this point. But I will share that these chainsaws aren't anything new. They've been out for quite a while, and so there's some proven technology behind it, and I want to go ahead and put it to the test. So let me give you a few specs of this guy first, and then we'll kind of go in and show you actually what it's all about and how we can use it and what it's all good for. All right, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on specs, but I do want to go over some of them. I'm going to start with, you can go onto their website anytime you want and take a look, but pretty easy, pretty recognizable chainsaw. There's nothing really out of the normal here. You've got an 18-inch bar on it. You've got an actual brake on it. You've got a place to put oil. So I've got that chain oil lube. And then on the other side, I've got a toolless tightener for my chain. This is how I take on and off my chain. We went ahead and go ahead and show you that one right now. And then right now I've got this outfitted with, let's take a look at it, a 5 amp hour battery. So 5 amp hour battery. This came actually as a kit. So I got the tool and I got the battery charger as well. So the book and the specs say that this is about the equivalent of a 45cc chainsaw. So, pretty mid-sized chainsaw. The other specs that it's going to say is that it's got about 300 cuts in it. So I didn't look at the details, I'm going to be honest with you, but 300 cuts, I would assume that's going to be 300 medium-sized cuts, 4 or 5 inches, I would assume. We're going to go ahead and put that to the test, but that seems like a pretty decent amount of cuts. If I think back how many times I actually have to fill up my chainsaw when I'm processing a couple of trees like this, that's probably right on par. I will say, personal opinion, I was a little apprehensive, and I think a lot of people are. But if I think about it, I've been using power tools with battery technology for a long time. I think a lot of people are very comfortable with that. Now that it's made it into lawn and garden equipment, zero turns, lawn tractors, handheld equipment, I think, again, people are going to be naturally apprehensive of it. But I think that this is a great solution for a lot of people. When it's just sitting here, it's absolutely dead silent. I don't have any peripheral noise. Now, when I use it and I go ahead and fire it up, it is relatively loud. You're going to have some of that noise from the blade and the rotational of the brushless motor. But at the end of the day, it's not that bad. Let's talk about form factor. Easy to handle. We've got a wraparound style handle. Oftentimes that's an additional charge on some of the other brands. Rubberized coating on the hand, so it's not going to slip off too darn much. So for the most part, natural feels good. It's not too heavy. The tool itself is certainly very, very light. This part of it is actually really light. You start to add these 5 amp hour batteries, there's a little weight to this, but put them together, it actually works relatively well. And FYI, this battery works in all of the other Ego tools. So that 56 volt system that they've got will work in a lawn tractor, it'll work in a pole saw, it'll work in a leaf blower, it'll work in all those different tools. So at the end of the day, pretty nice system. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this brief overview and demonstration of this 18-inch Ego chainsaw. I will tell you what, in their lineup, they've got pretty much every tool you can think of covered. This chainsaw does a phenomenal job. It feels safe to use, easy to use, I wasn't too worried, didn't feel like it had a really heavy kickback. Obviously, that's obviously predicated on the chain quite a bit. Easy to use, got some really nice features on it. We're not getting away from 100% petroleum. I still have to put a little bit of chain oil in there. So when we got that solved, I'll let you know. But at the end of the day, this thing solves a nice little niche in our product line. No gas, no emissions coming out of this thing. I hope you've enjoyed this content. We're going to do a couple more videos just like this, so stay tuned for more Ego equipment and hands-on usage of all this stuff. If you've got questions, please comment down below. Like and subscribe to our channel. We love providing this content for you, and we'll see you next time on Pape Toolkit.
Hi, my name is Jason Hughes. I'm a territory manager out of Eugene, Oregon. I'm also a large property owner and own a lot of the equipment that you see featured in these videos. I hope you find this content helpful. If you have any questions, please comment below.